Hey folks, Ira here. I hope you've had a great Saturday. Thanks for tuning in for the Earthquake Report. Today is April the 16th, 2016. Today is also known as National Eggs Benedict, National Librarian, and National Stress Awareness Day. Speaking of Eggs Benedict, I cringe at the thought of hollandaise sauce. If you have been following my channel for a while, you'll remember me mentioning my epic trip to California where I was food poisoned and then held prisoner at my in-laws for the course of a week. Well, let's just say that hollandaise sauce played a vital role in making all of that possible. Yeah. Okay, be strong, Ira. Earthquake report time. Here we go. Yesterday, added to the chaos for many around the globe as we experienced additional magnitude 6 earthquakes. Champerico, Guatemala was struck with a 6.1 just off the coast of Central America. Fortunately, there haven't been any reports of damage or injuries. Also, this quake was not large enough to generate a tsunami or dangerous harbor waves. Our friends in Japan were not so lucky though. Reports continue to roll in of deaths and people trapped inside buildings after a large, major earthquake struck the Kumamoto region yesterday. This earthquake had a preliminary magnitude of a 7.3, but was later revised to a 7.0 by the USGS. By the way, I would love to hear your thoughts on why the USGS revises their ratings. I have my own, and I'll share them in an upcoming video, but I would like to hear your thoughts on this matter. Conditions in the region are shocking. Power remains cut to many areas as well as running water. You can imagine the problems that can cause. Think about it this way. When the military first began delivering aid, they provided blankets and adult diapers. Yeah, it's pretty awful. Yesterday's earthquake also appears to have triggered an eruption at Mount Aso Volcano. When it blew, smoke was thrown roughly 320 feet into the air. The Japanese Meteorological Agency kept its alert at a level 2 on a scale of 5 for the volcano. Basically, this equates to a warning that advises the population to avoid the crater of the volcano. By the way, videos have been streaming in that were taken during the earthquake. You can view them at the end of this report. Before moving on, I encourage everyone to donate blood and available funds to programs like the Red Cross. Also, if you wish to donate, you can simply text Red Cross, one word, to 90999. It's painless and convenient. Alright, back to yesterday's events. We exceeded the average number of daily magnitude 5 earthquakes by 70%, 5 of which were aftershocks that struck Japan. In total, Japan experienced 12 aftershocks yesterday alone. The remainder were located along the Ring of Fire. Vanuatu clocked in a 5.3, a 5.4, a 5.1, and a 4.8. Indonesia experienced a 5.5, along with a 4.9 and a 4.4. Also, the Philippines were hit with a 5.1. Hawaii registered 7, 4 of which struck the volcano. The strongest to strike this area was a 2.5. Alaska experienced movement yesterday. 70 earthquakes were experienced, the majority of which, 21 in total, struck Talkeetna. Not only this, but the strongest earthquake experienced in Alaska yesterday, a 4.3, also hit this area. On a side note, what is interesting about this location is that the Talkeetna Mountains are a stretch of long extinct coastal volcanoes that got pushed inland through what is believed to be millions of years of geologic activity. Interesting. Washington also experienced increased activity. 11 earthquakes struck the Evergreen State. 54% of these earthquakes struck Amboy. The strongest to strike the state, a 2.3, hit Kittitas. Oregon only experienced 2 earthquakes, all of which struck Lakeview. The strongest experienced there was a 2.6. California clocked in only 74. This is about normal when pressure is released, as it has been around the Ring of Fire. The strongest to strike the state was a 3.0 in Valencia. No notable earthquake swarms were experienced outside of the usual activity in Cobb, the Geysers, and the Mammoth Lakes area. Increased seismic activity was not just limited to the Ring of Fire, though. Locations like Montana and Utah were quite active. In fact, Montana clocked in 14 in total, 64% of which struck the old mining town of Virginia City. This is no more than just 20 miles outside of Yellowstone. The majority of these quakes fell within the magnitude 2 scale, with the strongest being a 2.9. Utah clocked in 6, the strongest being a 2.0 in Washington. These quakes were somewhat spread out as Orem, Enterprise, Perry, Mona, and Huntington all experienced movement. Littleborn, Missouri, care of the New Madrid seismic zone, clocked in a 1.2 as well yesterday. As promised, we will continue to monitor events along this fault. And finally, the earthquake swarm affecting the Virgin Islands has diminished. Only 5 earthquakes were experienced there yesterday, with the most intense being a 3.7. Now, let's change gears and take a moment to review today's events. Beginning with Japan, the region continues to be shaken to its core with powerful aftershocks. 10 have been experienced thus far. The most powerful was a 5.4 and a 5.3. Accompanying these quakes have been incredible landslides that have covered roads, destroyed bridges, and are currently preventing relief from being transported to the worst hit areas. If you haven't seen the videos of this, we have you covered. You'll find them at the end of this report. Along with the earthquakes, landslides, and destruction, reports have been streaming in pertaining to a mysterious, foul-smelling foam that is seeping from the earth and is blanketing streets in some areas. If I had to guess, it is probably along the lines of waste, something similar to what is found in septic tanks. Just based off the images, it looks to me as though it could be the combination of detergent, saved from washing machines, and human waste. Either way, the situation over there is dire. The Easter Island region experienced an earthquake today. This tied for the most intense quake to strike the planet. This magnitude 5.4 hit just 214 miles from the famous Easter Island. Diego de Almagro, Chile, also tied with a 5.4. Finishing out the magnitude 5 earthquakes, we head across the Atlantic where we see that Greece was hit with a 5.0. We have experienced a substantial number of earthquakes to fall within the magnitude 4 scale, 18 to be exact. If you recall, the average number of magnitude 4 earthquakes to strike the planet is roughly 9 per day. The majority of these quakes come to us via the Ring of Fire. In fact, Taiwan registered a 4.9, Vanuatu clocked in a 4.9 as well, Indonesia experienced multiple 4.7s, the Philippines with a 4.7, and Papua New Guinea with a 4.6. Outside of this region, Uzbekistan was shaken with a 4.8, Yemen with a 4.7, and Afghanistan with a 4.6. Hawaii continues to experience multiple earthquakes. In fact, 6 struck the Aloha state today. The most intense to shake this area was a 3.4. Outside of these areas, the United States and the globe for that matter have been relatively quiet. Before we wrap things up, I would like to give credit where it is due. Dutch Sense once again accurately forecasted these earthquakes. You can view his most recent video and see for yourself as he pinpointed where he expected to experience larger movement. So with that being said, nice work, sir. And that is it for the Earthquake Report. Make certain you comment below and provide us with your thoughts on today's events and what may or may not be in store for us going forward. Make certain to like and subscribe, share if you feel inclined. Also, if you like the social media thing, you can link to us via the standard allotted social sites in the description. We'll end this report with a collection of videos streaming out of Japan. Have a great night, folks. Hoorah!